This is the RTX 4090 Suprim from MSI. Hell of a GPU when it comes to performance, power and weight. I've been using this as my main GPU for the last 6 months, and today I wanted to share with you some of my experiences. Let's discuss what's to like about this card, what's not, and whether you should be getting this GPU for the long run. Let's start with a brief reminder of what we get. 2595 MHz boost core clocks, 24 GB of GDDR6X memory and a vapor chamber cooling. The cooling is done by triple Torx fans blowing at an absolutely massive heatsink. All of this combined offers really good performance for both gaming and productivity while keeping the card relatively cool and also pretty quiet even under heavy load. I've never seen the GPU get to the maximum suggested temperature levels, which are at 83 degrees Celsius. During idle, the GPU temps are at around 36 degrees, the hotspot is at around 46 degrees, and under load while playing in 4K the temps reach around 70 degrees and the hotspot is at around 77 degrees. The noise levels are also very acceptable. Here's a sample of what the card sounds like while playing in native 4K resolution. So as you can probably hear, the card has coil whine, which is quite common for modern GPUs, especially those that can push the frame rates well above 100. For those that don't know the issue, the sound is emitted when the coils in the GPU start vibrating, and in doing so they start also emitting this high-pitched sound. But do not worry, it's not something that can damage your GPU, rather a side effect of high power, high frequency currents. Sometimes, if you're lucky, your GPU might not even have it at all. Physically and mechanically, the card is as good as on day one. I've seen no extensive sagging before moving into a new box, and in the C4 it has very good support, so I don't believe this to be an issue. Same for the fans, no complaints here, they work very well without causing unnecessary noise. I also have absolutely no issue when it comes to power connector, and I have plugged and unplugged the card multiple times, whether for testing different GPUs or moving the card from one case to another. I did however make sure to plug the power connector all the way in and leave enough clearance for it so it doesn't bend too much and apply unneeded pressure. The LED lighting is working really well, and the dedicated software does a decent job of allowing you to control the effects, and they're pretty good. I can imagine the card look remarkable when placed in a vertical position. Performance-wise, nothing has changed, so if you're interested in that, I encourage you to check out my full review where I go through benchmarks from different games. One trend I see in the gaming industry that has nothing to do with the GPU itself, but I think it's still worth sharing in this review, is that the developers try to take advantage of the DLSS technology as a means to skip optimization. So instead of taking time to make their games run smoothly, they take the shortcut and just assume that all cards can do DLSS. And honestly, I think it's a really bad trend which will make the GPUs obsolete much quicker, and I really hope it dies down fast. I mean, come on, 4090 requiring DLSS to maintain 60 frames per second at 4K, that's unacceptable. Moving on to power consumption, while playing at 4K 144Hz, the GPU-Z is showing that the card is pulling 575 watts of power. Usually it's not something you should concern yourself about, but since the electricity costs have been rising significantly over the last couple of months, it's definitely something you should take into consideration, especially if you're spending a significant amount of time gaming or making content each day. From my experience using the card 3-4 hours a day to do some productive work and game for a while, I have to say I haven't seen a noticeable increase in costs when it comes to electricity bills. So after 6 months, I can say that the build quality of the MSI Suprim holds up really well. There is no sign of extensive wear and tear, performance and cooling capacity hasn't changed, gaming and productivity with this card is a bliss. So should you consider this GPU as your next purchase? Well, after almost 1 year after launch, there's a couple of things to take into account. First off, we're nearing the end of this generation of GPUs. We'll probably see a couple more releases from Nvidia, maybe even a 4090 Super, so it's up to you to decide if you want to take the risk. This ties directly to price. The GPUs have fallen in price, but they're still quite expensive. Of course, if you want to have the best of breed, then there's no other choice but to reach deep into your pockets, and I think this sums it up well. The 4090 is still the fastest GPU out there at this moment, offering a pretty good ratio between the cost, power consumption and performance. And if you can afford it and can't wait any longer to see if a new generation is hinted at or a 4090 refresh is in the works, then sure, get it. And the Suprim from MSI is a very good choice. Good build quality, great aesthetics, and reasonable size at just over FEU and 336mm in length. And that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to subscribe if you did enjoy this video. I'm Laser, and I'll see you soon.